So I was told that the polling question didn't have anything to do with your topic. So hopefully you enjoyed thinking about Dr. Strangelove, a movie I actually haven't seen myself. The title of my talk is How Numbers Crunching Engineers Learn to Stop Fixating on Buildings and Love Social Sustainability, which may sound oddly like the subtitle to Dr. Strangelove, How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, hence the strangely appropriate photo. I hope to impress upon you 3 points today. When working to engage internal stakeholders, don't stereotype them, instead get to know them. Number 2, look for teachable moments, or in other words, it's okay to be a little subversive. And number 3, involve your stakeholders in what you're doing so they can become owners. So my story starts in January of 2012 when my small company in Portland, Maine was acquired by Thornton Tomesetti, a large engineering plus corporation, bringing in $100 million in revenue a year. With the acquisition and through some very strange twist of fate, I became the Chief Sustainability Officer for the corporation, although I don't think the company actually knew what it was getting in a sustainability officer. The history of sustainability at my company is that primarily because of one motivated employee who quietly worked through the channels, Thornton Tomesetti had signed the American Institute of Architects 2030 commitment, making a public statement that we supported the vision of climate neutral buildings by 2030. So henceforth, green building became synonymous with the word sustainability at my corporation. When I would introduce a sustainability initiative, the incorrect assumption was that we were doing it because we had signed the AAA 2030 commitment. But AAA 2030 is not the Magna Carta for corporate sustainability, it is about buildings. I perceived that there wasn't an understanding on the part of most internal stakeholders about what sustainability actually meant from the perspective of people, profits, and the planet, and so I knew what work I had to do. So I decided to keep my mouth shut at first. There's nothing so annoying as a new employee who knows the way things should be before they actually know what's happening at the company. So I read our intranet, I met with employees, and I talked to the leadership, and I listened. At first, I figured that most of the employees would think sustainability beyond buildings and energy efficiency was soft and wouldn't see value in it. There I was, making some assumptions about how engineers think. As I snooped around, I learned that the company had a strong culture of charitable giving. Our founders had started a charitable foundation and nonprofits, and my review of the internet uncovered hundreds of our employees and many of our offices volunteering for organizations in their communities. So I figured I could sneak in a little bit of social sustainability, or the people leg of the three-legged stool of sustainability. And here's my shameless advertisement. Then I went to the Institute in Corporate Sustainability, organized by NHBSR, and there I received the support and guidance to push harder. There I heard presentations on the benefits of social sustainability to business development and employee recruitment and retention. I got some great ideas about social sustainability, such as Hours for Good, and I received a free book, The Triple Bottom Line, about people, profits, and the planet, which makes its appearance later in this story. Hearing what others in corporate sustainability were doing as common practice gave me the license to open up the conversation with my company's decision makers beyond our specific business focus on green buildings. So at my company, the buck stops with our president. If he says yes, then anything's possible. So I made a slightly subversive move, and I sent him my copy of the book, The Triple Bottom Line. And I brought the word social sustainability over and over again into many of our discussions and into the reports that I sent him for review. And I decided to include our chief communications officer in these discussions and emails. I also invited our human resources director onto the Corporate Sustainability Leadership Committee to bring employee recruitment, retention, and health and safety into the conversation. And then there was a rather surprising outcome. I had gotten the go-ahead to publish our first corporate sustainability report ever in our annual report. I was given 2 pages in this prized real estate, and so I figured the focus had to be on measuring the energy intensity of our buildings and also on the carbon footprint of our operations. But then, although I really hadn't expected it, our Chief Communications Officer suggested that we devote some space to social sustainability, using those words. It seemed like his idea entirely, but I knew where it had come from. So I got 2 more pages of this prized real estate in the annual report and was asked to provide a social sustainability scorecard for our company of 700 plus employees in less than 1 month. This tough job ended up being a godsend because it involved employees and it got them involved and interested. Volunteerism had never, ever been tracked at my company, and charitable donations were not accurately tracked. So watch what you ask for. To track down the data, I had to communicate with many employees throughout our 26 office locations and within all levels of the company. I heard from many, many employees that I had never met in person, and everyone seemed to have something to share that they were excited about. So, did numbers crunching engineers learn to stop fixating on buildings and love social sustainability? Oops. Our first corporate sustainability report ever included, as you see right there, social sustainability. A conversation was started. Our office leaders began asking me if there was a corporate policy for volunteerism and giving, and I uncovered a real interest among our employees in social sustainability. And my company's key leadership had a wider, more systemic understanding of sustainability beyond green buildings. The President's report to the shareholders just recently included a slide about social sustainability at Thornton Tomesetti. These words became part of the common lingo used by the President and others within our leadership. And lastly, in a very recent discussion with the President about aligning our corporate sustainability initiatives with our competitive advantage, I asked him, what do you think our competitive advantage is? Thinking he would say, buildings, very tall buildings, big buildings. Instead, he said, our people. So, back to the points. Point number 1, don't stereotype, get to know your stakeholders. So I found out that engineers care about buildings, but they can care about people too. I also learned that engineers can understand that a strong business isn't just about designing the world's tallest buildings. Point number 2, be subversive. Gifts with ulterior motives, such as books on terrific topics, can be okay. And number 2, when I included words like social sustainability in my lexicon, those words would be repeated and used by others within my corporation. Point number 3, involve your stakeholders, let them be the owners. So I let others think certain things were their idea, such as introducing social sustainability into our corporate sustainability report. And I saw that tracking the data is really good for reporting, as we all know, but great for getting employee involvement. There's Dr. Strangelove again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.